There was a few of us that got together to start running at a package store in East Forest Park.
One day I left there and I was running to Forest Park, and there was a guy in front of me who I didn't know, running. I caught up to him, or he slowed down.
Yeah, I probably slowed down.
Introduced ourselves.
I thought he was Brian O'Brien. You know. So we talked and everything, and one thing led to another. That's how we started running.
And we invited somebody else, and there were 3 people, and then there were 4 people, and then at times it grew to 15 people.
And we ran into everybody running. And we said, hey, you know, get together on Sunday, we'll run. And as we were running through Forest Park and Sumner Avenue, we'd be waving to people, saying hello to everybody. And it got to be the point where there was somebody beeping the horn every 2 seconds. And I said, gee, why don't we do something? Let's have a race.
And somebody else said, we've got to get a charity to do this for. That's a great idea. We'll have a race in Springfield.
We had no clue how to run a race. We had a lot of friends, though.
The next weekend, Conrad Uliano said, why don't we do it for SIDS? For Barry, our friend Barry Mateer. Everybody knew Barry, everybody liked Barry, everybody respected Barry, and his wife Ann. And everybody said unanimous. Great idea.
I've known Barry since high school and before that. He was a great athlete growing up, and I knew him from his days of playing for Holy Name and playing at Forest Park. And the friendship just naturally progressed, and we've been good pals ever since.
I remember when Barry's son was born, and I saw Barry later that night. He was down in the hospital, and you know, we had a couple of beers together. His brother-in-law was with me, Jack Keogh, and a few other people, and you know, first child born, ecstatic, and it was just such a happy evening for all of us. And congratulating Barry, and I don't know how much later it was, whether it was a month or so after the fact that we got this devastating news, and it was just incredible. And all of a sudden that kind of personalizes it for you. You know, before that I really never had a friend that went through something like this.
SIDS is a funny disease. A lot of parents don't want to get involved. It happens so quickly. It's not like there's a period of sickness or illness, or, you know, like our son, we put him to bed and we woke up the next morning and he was dead. And so there's not a lot of time to grieve. There's not much going on. It's hard to get parents involved, but we've had a good number of parents get involved in the road race from across the state through the Congressman's efforts, and they've helped us to raise money and kind of get together and share stories. And it's when you think about the impact it's had on the SIDS rate in Massachusetts and across the country, we take some comfort in that.
The originals, which were about a handful, they were looking for a sponsor. And since I've been a runner for just about my whole adult life, it seemed a natural based upon my longtime friendship with Barry Mateer and aware of the tragedy that had confronted Barry and Ann. I certainly thought that this would be, you know, an opportunity to embrace science again and seeking advancement on the front of trying to find a cure for sudden infant death syndrome. So it was a nice one for me because of the social relationship and long-time friendship, but just as importantly, being able to invest in science.
Barry and Annie have been my friend for forever, and when their firstborn died of SIDS, it touched us all. And when I looked at my kids when they were growing up, you know, it touched you deeply.
It really makes us feel good that these guys and girls would pitch in and put all this time and effort into doing something to help out and keep our son's memory alive.
We want to find a cure for SIDS, so nobody has to go through what Barry and Annie went through. And we're getting pretty close, and we raised a lot of money so far.
I'm always moved by the consistency of the camaraderie and the friendships that have kind of linked us together, not only by generation, but by tragedy.
It just makes us feel great. Show up the day of the race and see 400 or 500 runners and all the people that come to the party afterwards. It makes us feel that our son didn't die in vain. You know, his life had some meaning.